What if I told you that the worst thing that's ever happened to you might actually be the best? That losing your job, facing heartbreak, getting stuck in traffic, or even being criticized online could all be fuel for greatness? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what the Stoics believed. Not just to accept fate, but to love it, to embrace it fully. Even the hard, the unfair, the tragic. There's a powerful phrase they used, amor fati, which means love of fate. Not just a passive acceptance, but a radical embrace of everything life throws at you. Whether your computer crashes and deletes your work, or you're passed over for a promotion, or you lose someone you love. Instead of collapsing, you lean, and you say, I love it. You repeat it like a mantra, and slowly it changes how you move through the world, because here's the truth. We don't get to choose what happens, but we do get to choose how we respond. That's where our power lies, and it doesn't stop there. This mindset isn't just about resilience, it's about mastery. It's about realizing that while you can't control the weather, the economy, or what people say about you, you can control how you show up. You control how you play, how you think, how you live. That simple shift changes everything. Finally, there's one more reminder the Stoics lived by. Two ancient words that cut through ego, pain, and even success. Memento mori, remember, you will die. It's not morbid. It's freeing. It's a call to stop wasting time, to let go of petty worries, to cherish what matters right now. So today, I want to take you through these three ideas. Amor fati, control what you can, and memento mori, and show you how just a few simple words can carry you through life's toughest challenges. Let's begin. Part 1. Amor fati. Love whatever happens. What if, instead of cursing the chaos in your life, you welcomed it? What if the setbacks, the failures, the heartbreaks, all the moments that once made you want to scream or give up, were actually gifts in disguise? That's the essence of amor fati. It's Latin for love of fate, and it might be the most powerful mindset shift you ever make. To love fate doesn't mean you pretend everything is fine. It means you stop resisting reality. You stop fighting what already is. You lean into it. You use it. You turn what was meant to break you into what builds you. Think about it. Life throws curveballs constantly. You lose your job. Someone betrays you. You get a diagnosis you didn't expect. You miss your flight. Your car won't start. It's easy, natural even, to react with frustration, anger, or despair. But where does that get you? The Stoics believed that our greatest power lies not in avoiding pain, but in how we respond to it. That's where amor fati becomes more than just a phrase. It becomes a philosophy for living. Imagine this. Your computer crashes and deletes the manuscript you've been writing for months. Your heart sinks. You feel like you've lost everything, but instead of spiraling, you take a breath, and you say, amor fati. I love this. I'll start again. I'll write something even better. That's the fire, because just like fire feeds on everything thrown into it, so can you. This idea isn't about being naive or passive. It's about turning every obstacle into fuel. It's about saying, I didn't just endure this. I was made for it. Let me tell you a true story. When Thomas Edison was 67 years old, his factory caught fire and burned to the ground. Millions of dollars in equipment, research, and materials gone. His life's work up in flames. His son rushed to find him, expecting to see his father devastated. But instead, Edison calmly said, Go get your mother and all her friends. They'll never see a fire like this again. That's amor fati. He didn't wallow in loss. He didn't curse his luck. He rebuilt. He saw the fire as the start of something new, not the end. He said, This will prevent me from getting bored. And he was right. That's the beauty of this mindset. It doesn't just help you survive hardship, it gives you a reason to thrive because of it. When you train yourself to love your fate, you stop seeing life as something happening to you. You start seeing it as something happening for you. You're criticized online? Good. Now you have a chance to develop thicker skin. You're stuck in traffic? Great. A perfect moment to practice patience or listen to a podcast that shifts your perspective. You're hungry? Tired? Uncomfortable? Wonderful. This is what being alive feels like. You're in it. You're living. Even grief, perhaps the hardest of all human emotions, can be transformed. Losing someone you love hurts deeply. The Stoics didn't deny that. But they would say, what good can you find within this pain? What memories can you honor? How can this loss shape the way you show up for others? And most importantly, how can you continue because of them, not in spite of their absence? Saying, I love it, doesn't mean you love suffering. It means you recognize that life is unpredictable, and still, you choose to face it with open arms. It means that when the world tells you this is unfair, you respond with, this is mine. You claim it, you own it. And the magic is, once you start living this way, once you start practicing amor fati daily, it becomes your default. You begin to expect challenge, you welcome it, and it no longer holds the same power over you. You realize that life isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about rising through it. So how do you begin? You start small. The next time something doesn't go your way, no matter how minor, pause. Don't react immediately. Instead, whisper to yourself, amor fati, and mean it. Say it enough times, and it becomes part of your nature. Over time, that phrase will echo in your mind when you need it most. It will become the anchor that steadies you through chaos. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't owe us ease or comfort. Life isn't designed to always go according to plan, but if you can train your mind to love whatever happens, then nothing can truly defeat you. You stop fearing the unknown. You stop resenting what went wrong. You start using every moment, every twist, every fall, every inconvenience as a chance to grow stronger. And that's what amor fati really is, a strategy for freedom. The freedom to stop resisting, the freedom to live on your terms, the freedom to say, this too is part of my story and I choose to love it. So the next time something doesn't go your way, don't ask why me. Ask what now. Then say with strength and clarity, amor fati, because the fire inside you will burn brighter when it's fed, and the world will feel a little less heavy when you learn to love all of it. Let's keep going. Now that we've learned to embrace whatever comes, let's talk about what we can actually control. Part 2, control what you can. Find your power in the chaos. After you've embraced what happens, the good, the bad, the unexpected, the next question becomes, what now? That's where the second core idea from Stoicism comes in. It's not as catchy as amor fati, but it's just as powerful. Control what you can. Ignore what you can't. It sounds simple, but when you start applying it in your daily life, you'll realize just how much of your energy is being wasted on things completely outside your control. Let's face it, most of the stress we feel in life comes from trying to manage the uncontrollable. We worry about what people think. We obsess over outcomes. We replay things we should have said or could have done. We lose sleep over news headlines, bad weather, traffic jams, algorithm changes, and awkward emails. But none of those things are ours to command. The Stoics taught that if you want peace of mind, you have to separate what's within your power from what isn't. That's the line. That's your battlefield. And on your side of that line, your actions, your thoughts, your effort, your attitude, your decisions. That's it. That's what belongs to you. Everything else? You let it go. There's a story I always come back to. I was once invited to speak to a professional football team. These were elite athletes, men at the top of their game competing under massive pressure. I started the talk with a single message. You control how you play. That's it. Not whether your teammates show up. Not if the coach favors you. Not if the refs make bad calls. Not what the fans yell from the stands. Not the weather, not the noise, not the past. You control how you play right now. And that message doesn't just apply to athletes. It applies to all of us. You don't control how someone treats you, but you control how you respond. You don't control whether your boss gives you credit, but you control the quality of your work. You don't control whether your kids behave, but you control your tone and patience. You don't control the market, the election, the delays at the airport, or how many likes your post gets. But you do. Control your choices, your words, your discipline, your effort. That's where your true power lives. Now here's where it gets interesting. Once you stop obsessing over the things you can't control, you'll suddenly find that you have more energy, more clarity, and more peace. You stop being dragged in every direction by forces you can't predict. You start building a stronger inner compass. It's like this. Imagine you're in a small boat out in the ocean. You can't control the waves, you can't stop the storm. But you can adjust your sails, you can row, you can steer, and sometimes, most times, that's enough. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, who was born a slave and later became one of the great Stoic teachers, said it best. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. If you live by that truth, you stop wasting time shouting at the wind. You stop trying to win battles you were never meant to fight. You start showing up differently. And here's the surprising part. When you focus only on what you can control, your results often improve too. Because instead of blaming others or waiting for perfect conditions, you take ownership, you do the work, you stay steady. And people notice that opportunities come. Trust is built. Your confidence grows, not from external validation, but from the integrity of your own effort. Let's get practical. Let's say your project at work doesn't go the way you hoped. You could spiral into complaints. The client changed their mind. The team didn't deliver. The deadline was too tight. Or you could ask, did I do my best? Did I stay calm? Did I communicate clearly? If the answer is yes, then you did your job. You were successful, regardless of the outcome. That's the secret most people miss. Success isn't always about results. It's about the part you control. Now, this doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. Quite the opposite. It means you focus intensely, but only on what's yours to improve. That's the path of power. That's the path of peace. It also means letting go of things that weigh you down. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You don't need the approval of strangers or the applause of the crowd. You need to be honest. You need to show up. You need to keep going. And when things go wrong, as they inevitably will, you ask yourself, did I bring my best? Did I act with integrity? Did I stay true to my values? If the answer is yes, then nothing else matters. So how do you start building this muscle? Start by noticing. The next time you feel stressed, ask, am I trying to control something that isn't mine? Then shift your focus. If you're upset about traffic, focus on how you're reacting. Turn on a good audiobook. Use it as a moment to breathe. If you're nervous about an interview, don't try to control the questions. Focus on how well you prepare. If you're frustrated in a relationship, stop trying to change the other person. Focus on your communication, your boundaries, your truth. When you start living this way, moment by moment, you'll feel something you may not have felt in a long time: freedom. Not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. You'll realize that you never needed to control everything. You only needed to control yourself, and that's enough. So remember, when the noise gets loud, when the world feels out of control, come back to this truth. You control how you play. You control how you show up. You control your effort, your mindset, your character. That's where your real strength is, and no one, not a boss, a critic, a failure, or even fate itself, can take that away from you. Now, we've talked about loving your fate and mastering your response. But there's one more idea that brings it all together. One ancient reminder that gives everything perspective, even in your highest moments or your darkest ones. Let's talk about it next. Part 3, Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. You could leave life right now. That's not a warning. It's not a threat. It's a fact. And the Stoics believed it was one of the most important truths to carry with you every single day. 2 simple words: memento mori. Remember, you will die. Sounds dark, right? But it's not meant to be depressing. It's meant to be freeing. In fact, it's the one reminder that can bring your entire life into sharp, urgent, beautiful focus. Because once you realize you're going to die, not someday in the abstract, but maybe today, maybe tomorrow, you start seeing what really matters. And you stop wasting time on what doesn't. You stop taking things so seriously. The criticism, the comparison, the tiny annoyances and disappointments that used to ruin your day, they lose their power. Because in the face of death, how much does that really matter? You stop living for later. You stop delaying your dreams. You stop saying, I'll get to it next year, or I'll say it when the time is right, or maybe someday. Because someday isn't promised. When the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think," he wasn't being poetic. He was being practical. He ruled an empire. He faced war, plague, betrayal, and loss. And still he reminded himself, memento mori. Because remembering your death is what helps you live with urgency, purpose, and humility. Let me ask you something. If this was your last day alive, how would you spend it? Would you waste it stewing over an email, obsessing over likes, arguing with strangers online? Would you be holding a grudge, scrolling mindlessly, or numbing yourself with distractions? Or would you call someone you love, create something that matters, say something true even if your voice shakes? That's what memento mori demands of us. Not fear, but focus. It doesn't just apply in the hard moments either. When you win an award, when you land your dream job, when someone praises you, promotes you, or hands you the spotlight, memento mori. Remember, none of this lasts. It keeps you humble. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that ego is just another distraction from the truth. And in those moments, when everything falls apart, when you're cheated, rejected, abandoned, or heartbroken, memento mori brings perspective. Because even this pain will pass. When your flight is delayed, your plans are canceled, your body aches, or your heart is heavy, ask yourself, will this matter when I'm gone? Is this how I want to spend the precious time I have? Because time is the one thing you can't earn back. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how fit you are, how loved you are. You don't get to negotiate with the clock. So don't wait. Don't live like you'll live forever. Tell the people you love that you love them. Start the book. Take the walk. Forgive the old wound. Take a breath. Look up from the screen and notice the beauty around you. The kind that doesn't cost a thing. This is the only moment you are guaranteed. This one, right here. And if you want to know how powerful this practice really is, look at those who've stared death in the face. People who've beaten cancer. People who've lost everything. People who've walked away from near-death experiences. They all say the same thing. Life looks different now. They savor their coffee. They laugh harder. They say no to things that drain them, and yes to what lights them up. They don't need tragedy to teach them anymore. They've learned the lesson. But the Stoics believed you don't have to wait for tragedy. You can remind yourself now, you can tattoo those words on your mind, memento mori. Remember you will die, and let that truth shape your life into something brave, honest, and beautiful. So what does this look like in everyday life? It means choosing presence over distraction. It means choosing connection over pride. It means choosing action over delay. It means asking yourself, again and again, is this how I want to be remembered? If this was the last thing I did, would I be proud of it? It's not about being perfect. It's about being awake, being aware of the fragility of it all. And from that awareness comes gratitude. Gratitude not just for the good days, but for every day, for every breath, for every sunrise, for every messy, chaotic, painful, miraculous moment that you're still here to witness. Because one day you won't be. And that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to set you free. Free from waiting, free from pretending, free from wasting time on things and people and thoughts that don't matter. Memento mori doesn't say, be afraid. It says, be alive. It says, you don't get forever, but you get now. So live like it matters. Speak like it's your last chance. Love like you won't get another. And when life overwhelms you, when you forget what's important, when you start drifting back into old habits of bitterness or stress or self-doubt, come back to the simplest, most profound truth of all. You will die. So live. 3 timeless truths, 3 simple phrases, but together, they hold the power to change the way you face everything in life. Amor fati. Love whatever happens. Let life's chaos be your fuel. Control what you can. Stay grounded in your choices, your effort, your response. Memento mori. Remember you will die. Let that truth wake you up. This isn't just philosophy for bookshelves and quiet nights. It's a daily practice. A way to walk through this messy, unpredictable world with clarity, courage, and compassion. It doesn't mean you'll never feel pain. It doesn't mean life will always make sense. But it does mean you'll stop wasting your one and only life on things that don't matter. And in return, you'll find peace where others find panic. You'll find strength where others feel stuck. You'll find meaning, even in the mess. That's the Stoic path. And if this message spoke to you, even just a little, then keep going. Keep reminding yourself. Keep building this mindset, one choice at a time. And if you want to walk this journey with us, don't forget to subscribe to Daily Stoic Habits. Every week we dive deeper into Stoic wisdom and how to apply it right now. Not someday, not in theory, but in your actual, imperfect, beautiful life. Hit that like button if this video helped you. Share it with someone who needs this reminder today. And leave a comment below. Which of the 3 ideas hit home the hardest? Amor fati, control, or memento mori? Until next time, live well, think deeply, and remember, you control how you play. Love your fate and don't waste time because you don't get to keep it.